Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this, which is a Keema Matar from the Slimming World Curry Club book, but we've made a speed version with broccoli and cauliflower rice. So this is what you're going to need. So we've got some peas. It does say use frozen peas, but I've just got a tin of peas because it was easier. They were in the cupboard. So it's 265 grams when drained of garden peas. 500 grams of beef mince. It says 750 in the recipe, but that's one of the big packs. We didn't have one of those. This is the less than 5% fat steak mince from Lidl's, I think it was. Then in here are the spices. Now I've got some garlic granules, some onion granules. I've got about 2.5 teaspoons of quite a strong curry powder. I've got a little bit of cumin because I quite like the cumin as well. So that all adds in. Now the one thing it does say to add that we haven't added, and I didn't do last time, is some ginger. But that's fine. I've got cauliflower and broccoli for the rice, which I'll show you in a minute. Some tomato puree, you need about 6 tablespoons of that. 2 onions, it says finely chopped, it's roughly chopped, it doesn't really matter. A packet of passata, and also just because we like them in a lot of things are some courgettes, so that will go in as well. So the first thing you want to do is to grab your fry light and get your pan on. Oh, that clicker doesn't want to click today for some reason. Whoa, lots of flames. So there we go. So you want your pan to be really, really hot. This is the garlic oil infused fry light. We use this a lot if we're doing curries or anything that we want a bit of added herbs to, anything that we've got garlic in. And this is a new pan. This is one of the brand new super non-stick pans from Asda, and it's absolutely lovely. Copper on the side and that sort of mottled effect on the inside of the pan. So it's a really good non-stick pan. And of course, if you're using a non-stick pan, it means you need to use less oil. Again, your fry light works better on it, so that's all really good. So you want that to heat up onto a high heat. So there you go, so that's getting nice and hot. Now you want to pop your mince into the pan. Obviously not forgetting to take that piece of paper off. That's kind of quite an important thing. There we go, and just break the mince up with the spoon, just so you don't get big clumps of mince cooking together. And just keep that moving around so you're just cooking that mince through. And also you want to add your onions in as well. So I like to just make a bit of space, as you can see, and bung the onions in. And then you just keep moving those around for 3 or 4 minutes. You can cook them off separately, but to be fair, it's just as easy doing it together. As you can see, the onions already are starting to go a little bit see-through, so that means they're beginning to cook through. You're just stir-frying it, and again, with a good non-stick pan, everything's jumping out of the pan. But with a good non-stick pan, it does mean that you're not getting any of that sort of bit where you're having to sort of scrape it off or anything. So there you go. Now pretty much all of that mince has now changed colour, so that has been cooked through, just very lightly cooked through, and the onions will follow suit in time. So the onions we're not really worried about. It's just really making sure that mince is cooked through. We don't want anybody to get food poisoning or anything. So there you go. So once you get to that point, you want to add your spices. So as I say, this is the curry powder, the garlic, some onion granules as well, just because I like onion granules. And also because the passata we're using hasn't got onion and garlic in. Normally you can get one with the onions and herbs in. But just again, give it a stir through, and instantly, as soon as those spices hit their heat, you get that lovely, lovely smell. So it's really important to use the low fat mince, especially if you are on Slimming World. That's all the herbs in. So now we want about 6 tablespoons of the tomato puree. So roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and a little bit extra. So I like my tomato puree. So we're adding in now the tomato puree. I'm just I'm not really stirring that through, I'm just moving that around a little bit. And this was the other ingredient that I forgot to mention earlier. This is 200 ml of absolute boiling water with chicken stock. And so you want to add that through. It smells lovely, absolutely smells gorgeous with the spices now cooking through. And then you want to add your passata as well. Now this is where I always struggle to get these bloody things open. Because as I've done there, oh, it hasn't got a tear side. That's going to be useful then. Oh. Do you watch, this is where it's going to go absolutely everywhere. Oopsie. Just grab a tea towel. So that's your passata. So that's now your stock cubes, your passata, your tomato puree, your herbs, your mince, and of course your onions. Put that into the bin. And you want to give that a good old stir around. And you'll find it looks really liquidy at the moment, but obviously this is going to cook now for about 15-20 minutes, and it won't actually have that much liquid in it. A lot of the liquid will actually evaporate off through the cooking time. So I'm just going to turn that down a little bit and leave that there. So then if I move the camera just round slightly, there we go. I'm going to show you the next phase, or the next part. Now, in the shops, and certainly if you're doing an SP day, you can buy something called collie rice. Let me just, tell you what, let me just clear this away. 1 second. See, normally I'd have Ruffus in the kitchen with me whenever we're cooking. We do a lot of it together, but he's actually looking after the puppies at the moment to allow me time to film, because it is puppy time, so they're out playing. So he's just actually looking after them to allow me time to do this video. So that's why I'm by myself in the kitchen. So this is a Tefal Fresh Express, it's called. And it was actually given to us by, just make sure I don't set fire to the plug, that would help. It was actually given to us by a friend of ours. And what it does is it basically turns your vegetables to rice. It doesn't actually turn them to rice, but it's like a grater. So this blade here spins round. Now I will say, if you've got one of these, or if you're thinking about buying one of these, they are great for doing what we're about to do, but don't use it on onions. I don't know if you can see this sort of, I've tried doing an onion with it earlier and it absolutely failed miserably. So all I'm going to do with the broccoli is just break it up into florets. And you literally just sort of whack that on, as you can see. Now the good thing about this is that with the broccoli you can use all the bits, the stalks and things that normally people throw away. Now we actually, if we're ever doing a curry, we put the stalks in anyway, because it's just, there's lots of goodness in that in there. And then this is the cauliflower. Again, break it up into florets, push it in and press the button. See, now we're cooking on gas with the cauliflower. Talking about cooking, do just make sure that you are stirring the curry, that you're not just leaving it while you're doing this. See, I can understand why people buy cauliflower rice rather than making it from home, because it does take a little while, and that's with one of these machines, so You can of course put it into a food blender. If you've got a normal sort of food blender, you can sort of do it that way. It's all worth it when you have those fantastic losses at group. I better have a loss this week is all I can say. So next time I do one of these videos, I'll do all this in advance so you haven't got to sort of sit there and watch me wade through the cauliflower. So while we've been doing that, the curry itself has been cooking away on a low heat now, so just letting that cook through. So I am now going to add the courgette into the curry, because that takes a little bit longer than the peas. Now they have been diced quite small, so I've cut them into discs and then cut each of the discs into quarters, and that now is going to sit on the other burner, just because it needs a low heat. And then this pan I'm going to use for the cauliflower and the broccoli. It doesn't want to sit quite properly on there, so I'm not going to use the garlic fry light for that one. I'm just going to use a little bit of the sunflower oil fry light. Just got a little bit of the broccoli in there already. Just 2 sprays, well 3 sprays of that, just to stop it sticking. This pan is one that's supposed to be non-stick, but actually it is nowhere near as good as the new pan. So I'll just bring the camera across a little bit. There we go. So as you see, I've just put 3 squirts of the fry light in here. I'm just going to cook the cauliflower and broccoli rice off. It's a good way of getting your vegetables in, and actually without changing a great deal of your food. So you can still have chilli, but instead of having rice with it, you just have cauli rice or broccoli rice instead. So there you go. So there's a lot of liquid in there, as you can hear it. So this is a little bit where we juggled for time now, because we just want to cook this off and basically warm this through. There's a little bit of leaf there. I don't know how that managed to get through the blender. But you just want to cook this through and remove as much of the liquid as possible. But whilst that's sort of sitting on there, just keep stirring the curry itself. I say, I wish I had smell-o-vision, because this smells absolutely lovely. So that, you can see with the curry, I'll just move the camera slightly to there you go. You can see with the curry that an awful lot of that liquid that we had in it before, so that 200 mils of chicken stock and the whole pack of passata has now actually cooked away. So that's cooked down quite happily. And I'm going to add the peas into that, because this is what makes it a Keema Matar. The peas are the Matar, just in case anybody was wondering. And I have had it confirmed that it is Matar, not Matar, as I was saying last week. But an Indian friend of ours who comes to our group actually corrected me on that and said, oh no, it's Matar. So there's nothing worse than thinking you know something and then getting it horrendously wrong and nobody telling you. At least if I get told, then if I say it wrong, then you know that's my fault then. But it looks yummy. So again, just giving this a quick stir around. We are going to get another one of these framed non-stick pans actually. They're about £30 in Asda, and I've got to say it's absolutely worth it. This one I'm using now is not as good a non-stick, and as you can see, because it is sticking, it's supposed to be non-stick, but as soon as anything sort of wet touches it and then dries out, it sticks to the side like I don't know what, so it is a little bit annoying. Going back to the curry, just giving that a good old stir. Oh, it smells so delicious. And again, for people that are new to Slimming World, I bet you didn't think that you could have this great big huge thing of curry, which is quite a thick, stodgy. There's no, you know, there's no, nobody's being hard done by here when it comes down to what's in it. There's no sort of skimping, but it's just optimizing your food plan, your food options. And instead of going for the sort of your normal mince, you go for the 5% mince. And instead of going for you know, cooking with lots of oil, you use a non-stick pan, a proper non-stick pan, and a little bit of fry light. So there we go. So this is now warmed through. And because we're using this in place of rice, this is actually almost ready, because it is now, you can see the steam coming off it, so it's cooked through. Okay, so then just show you how I dish this up. So on Slimming World, you like to have 1/3 of your plate speed food, 1/3 of your plate protein, and 1/3 free food. Well, we've gone slightly overboard with the speed food today, because we're not officially on an SP day, but we're almost on an SP day. So as you can see, this goes to a lovely, lovely green colour with the broccoli. So just do that, make a nice well in the middle. Oh, give Ruffus a little bit extra there. There we go. So put a well in the middle and pop that into the sink. I'll wash that in a minute. So as you can see, we've got speed vegetables with the passata and the onions, and then your peas and your courgettes as well. So just to put that in there. And there you go. Now if you wanted to, if you were having a bit of an extravagant day, you could also put a little bit of your grated cheese with that as part of your healthy extra A, or you could maybe put it with some poppadoms, some of the sort of homemade poppadoms, or some roti, or some, if you wanted to use your healthy extra B, you could maybe put it with a wrap. But there you go. Totally free, majorly speed food because of the broccoli cauliflower rice, and absolutely delicious, and as you can see, made in about 35 minutes. We're going to go and eat that now. It looks yummy. Don't forget, do leave a comment just down there, give us a like, and of course do go and subscribe. We'll see you on the next video. Happy slimming!